Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it is officially Eagles Week here inside the SWBC podcast studio at the beautiful Star in Frisco, where we have football equipment on a football field, and in a matter of moments, we'll have football players on a football field.
Thank you for the progressive update, my man.
It is a beautiful day for football outside.
Man, oh my goodness.
Funny word, progressive.
Okay. Do we want to go with the Mick right now, or should we wait till later, or how are we going to do this? We can get it off my chest right now, baby.
Has Mike McCarthy had his press conference?
Yes, he has.
Okay. Were you at the press conference?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Why is he laughing?
I don't know.
Because I kind of had a funny.
It ain't that funny, though.
No, it's not.
Oh, stop, man. It's the only way you're going to get through it, baby.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Oh.
Hey, I had a question.
Okay.
And, well, it was another observation. So we have an all-ladies podcast, right?
Uh-huh.
I'd love to be on that podcast.
Well,
Well, you're talking to the wrong two people.
I'm just saying, when we mix it up, it'd be nice to sit in with the ladies and see what they're talking about. Because I never, really heard the podcast.
You don't have to sit in on the podcast. You can call it up and listen to it yourself if you want to hear it.
I would rather be involved.
You want to
with
contribute.
Them. Yeah, or just, take it in and give it out.
Call in and tell Jazz that you got a question for her.
I'm going to listen because I've really never heard a table full of ladies talk about sports. And so, that'd be very interesting.
We're very progressive here with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
We have women that do things.
I know, but we never talk about it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to be, like,
Okay,
we mix it up.
we'll put that request
me in there. I grew up with nothing but women anyway, so, I'd love to hear that.
I'm the same way. I have 3 sisters, and I've got 3 daughters.
You know what's up, man. Yeah, at one point, my dog was even a lady, so.
I've got 2 dogs that are females now.
That's crazy. No, just a thing.
We're training the 2 dogs. They're 6 months old. We're training them right now.
To do what?
To just not jump. You ought to see my arm where the dog jumped on me this morning when the trainer came over.
But you were teaching them to play softball.
No, it was just a thought. It's just a thought. So, ladies, more power to you.
All right, very good. All right, Mickey's got a legal pad filled with all sorts of things he wants to talk about, and we had some player transactions that have happened.
Have we met the guy yet?
I think he should be here today.
Okay. Jonathan Mingo is the guy.
Mm-hmm. The guy.
And Mike did a good job of explaining what we explained yesterday.
Okay. Good.
Which there was a lot of people on.
I wasn't able to listen to the press conference because I was on the phone driving in.
A lot of people on talk radio should have been listening to us yesterday, explaining.
So what did he explain?
Well, he basically said it was a guy that that you got to trust the draft process, a guy that they liked, and it was an opportunity to take advantage of. And so they did, and they were looking at the future. It's not like this guy, as we explained yesterday, was going to save the season. And then we explained how everybody needed to understand all these other receivers that got traded for less because they're 30-some years old and have baggage with a salary cap.
And they're only going to be with their team for the rest of this season.
Right.
Yes.
And there was a bunch of people on talk radio that forced me to go listen to music on the way home last night because they didn't listen to us and they were being unreasonable. And even though one person was being reasonable and explaining it just the way we did, they don't want to hear it. So we've hit this ditch right now that anything the Cowboys do is wrong.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Well, because it's not work. Because whatever they're doing right now is not working
It didn't
out.
work
Right.
the way everybody wants it to work.
But the process you're saying is valid.
Yes.
By the way, there's another thing that I didn't bring up yesterday that should be brought
And
up
I got
in
another
regard to
one.
the
I'm gonna let you-
fourth-round draft pick.
Yes.
Is understanding the compensatory picks
I was just gonna
that the
point that
Cowboys
out.
are going to have in the next draft, and it's the compensatory process is based on who you lose in free agency and their production for those teams, meaning how many games they start, playing time, so forth, as opposed to who you signed in free agency. And what the Cowboys, when you look at the lack of activity, this is unrestricted free agents
Yes.
that they sign.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. And unrestricted free agents that you lose, which would include Tony Pollard. All Cowboy fans need to be rooting for Tony Pollard to be healthy all season and have a great season with the Tennessee Titans. You want Tyron Smith to be healthy all season and start every game for the New York Jets. Tyler Biadasz with Washington. Dante Fowler.
Dorrance
Armstrong. All those guys need to have, well, unless they're maybe not the Washington guys, but the other guys, okay?
Well, just not when you play them.
Right.
You're right.
As long as they're playing, it's not even so much based on their stats.
We
as
want to whip their
playing
butts,
time.
but we don't.
You've got four
but
starters.
you've got
you lost.
but you've got all of those players against, and it's factored in how many compensatory picks factored in against how much you gained in unrestricted free agency, and the Cowboys gained Eric Kendricks.
I don't know if Zeke.
I think
counts.
Kendricks and Zeke were after the deadline.
Right.
Yeah,
There's a deadline.
There's a deadline in late April or
Right.
May.
Right. And they were the only two.
Which is the reason that you wait until that time to sign, because you're keeping in mind the compensatory
So there's
process.
a chance they could get a fourth for sure, maybe a fifth, maybe
They're
two
likely.
fifths.
No one knows what the formula exactly is. They don't reveal that. But I would not be at all surprised if the Cowboys have 3 compensatory picks.
Right. And that was another thing that you needed to consider. So I can trade a fourth, and no one's, all the people that saw Jordan Phillips come in here. Oh, Jordan Phillips, right? Well, it's a 6th-round pick in 2026.
But here's the value of the 7th-round pick that they got in
Right.
this trade is you then take that 7th, couple it with your 5th, and you move back into the 4th.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And that no one looks at it that way. They just want to overreact.
So
to,
the 4th-round pick is nothing. So, there you go.
All right. You feel better, Spags?
yes.
Okay.
Got that off my chest. All right, so that was first. And then Micah was supposed to practice on a limited basis today. Said he was looking good, but they'll, kind of judge how it goes and how much he does. CD, they said they're going to be slow with him. He'll be with probably the rehab group. He's not going to do much on the field. Wanye's probably still out, concussion protocol, so he's not ready to go. And who am I forgetting? Bland.
So when he was laying on the field, that's what it was. It was
a
a concussion.
Yeah, when they helped him walk off. And then Bland still with the rehab group. And Mike got asked, I think it was on the walk-off, did he have a setback? And it's like, no, it's just the progression, right? What has it been, 2 months now since the injury? It was in training camp?
On Duran?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
August.
Well, he hadn't played in the game.
Right.
So it was April 20th, something like that.
No.
No, August.
I'm August.
Yeah.
I always get the A's.
I was
mixed
thinking,
up.
whoa, we go back that far?
I always get
'Cause
the
I was
August
gonna
and
say,
April mixed up.
They didn't let I didn't get to do anything for 3 months when I fractured mine. So
Stop comparing yourself to athletes, bro.
I know.
Okay, just do that. Don't
But
do
I
that.
didn't do an athletic stuff. Well, he's not as old as I am, but it's taken about as long.
It does seem that way.
What he's
It
got to
does.
do is a little different
Yes.
than what you have to do. And then the other news from yesterday. Now the Andrew Booth happened earlier, but Jordan Phillips is
Yes.
the other one that was let go.
I don't know why it took so long for both of them.
Well, they were checking. They got past the trade deadline.
Right, probably couldn't
for Jordan Phillips for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, and
So that just turned out to be a big waste of time.
well, they did him a solid
Uh-huh.
because today is the day that all players that are released are subject to waivers. Yesterday was the last day that you can release a veteran player and he can just sign with anybody he wants to sign with. He's not subject to waivers. So
now
that's why you saw a lot of veteran guys that were released after the trade deadline yesterday.
Yeah.
Because there's that like a 24-hour window where they can be released yesterday.
Right.
And then, or
Claimed
maybe it probably was before 3 o'clock yesterday, but starting today, all players that are released, no matter how many years of service they have, are subject to waivers.
to waivers, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't just let somebody go and do a solid for
your buddy.
friend.
Yeah.
yeah.
You can't, huh?
No.
Yeah, that's why they have it in fantasy football too. I know you're big on that.
So I guess I I guess I shouldn't say what took them so long because they were dead weight to me, both of them. Mm-hmm. Phillips played the first 2 games.
Well, they were hoping they could get that
Yeah, I know.
conditional 7th round
That's
pick.
why I said
right.
I didn't.
That explains it.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
because he only played 34 snaps, got 1 assisted tackle, and it's like, and then he went on IR, much to his chagrin, and then they started him on the practice part of it the last 2 weeks. And he didn't get activated, so they knew he wasn't. They were going to release him. Booth, after he got benched in the Giants game at halftime, I think he played in maybe 2 more games, maybe special teams and a couple defensive snaps, and they weren't going to put him out there. They were going to put Josh Butler out there before they activated him to play.
And by the way, back on Jordan Phillips, he has signed with the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, okay.
So that's what.
That's where he came from, right?
He was with them last year, but he was with the Giants. In training camp when the Cowboys traded for him.
So the Cowboys traded a 2026 6th, and they got a 7th back. So
In the 26th draft?
yeah.
Okay. And then the Bills also signed defensive tackle Quentin Jefferson, who was let go yesterday, too.
So, yeah, there's a lot of moves by people, but you got to understand what's going on. So, did Philadelphia pick up anybody we got to be aware of? I didn't see that.
Washington did.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, who did Washington pick up?
Well, they got Marshawn Lattimore, the cornerback from the
That's
Saints.
right, yeah.
Was he still playing for the Saints?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
playing?
Yes.
Yeah. No, he was.
I mean, I know he was there.
Yes.
I was never. I never knew he was that good. You know, all I know was that he battles a lot, but I didn't know the guy had 4 Pro Bowls, and every time he goes up against Tampa, he's having a fight with I think it's Evans. That's the part I know about him.
And then I saw somebody picked up Tre'Davious White, cornerback.
Yep, from the Rams.
And he wasn't playing. He'd been inactive the last 4 weeks. So
He requested a trade like
Right.
3 weeks ago.
yeah,
He went to Baltimore.
Baltimore now.
they finally
Ooh, nice.
sent him on.
I'll take that.
So I don't know what else. I mean, if the Cowboys were going to make a trade to help this season, it would have had to been a defensive end. And not just rent the guy for 9 games.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that any move that they made needed to be with a 3-5 record. You just have to look at it objectively. With a 3-5 record, you don't want to give up a draft pick or whatever on a rental player for the second half of this season. It needed to be someone who, like a Jonathan Mingo, who you have for the next couple of years as well.
Right.
And as we talked about yesterday, when you look at the inventory of wide receivers on this team going into next year, they've got, Brandon Cooks becoming a free. There's opportunities that are there.
Right.
And the other thing is, like for instance, you take a 4th round wide receiver, Everson, a rookie 4th round wide receiver. What are the chances? How long does it usually take for a player like that to start contributing in the NFL?
A couple of years.
Exactly, and that's what they've done with, and so now you've got a guy who in Mingo, who has 2 years under his belt going into next season.
Mm-hmm.
So do you expect him? Okay, now you've got a guy who's not going to be bothered by the transition to the league or anything like that. He's mature enough in the league where, okay, if he's got anything, he should be showing it.
Sort of.
Whereas a 4th round pick next year, you're not counting on him to do much of anything except maybe being a special teams player.
Right.
I mean, take
his rookie season.
Take Jalen Tolbert, for example. Now, I know it was a 3rd-round pick, but it took him a couple years, and now you're starting to see some payoff for that 3rd-round pick. So, yeah, it takes some time. The other I thought Mike McCarthy had a really good segment at 8:50 of his press conference.
Okay.
He was asked
broken
about
down in segments now. They take a commercial break, and then we'll
That's right.
Next segment we'll be talking about this.
Actually, it was just on the time clock recording about young quarterbacks, and basically he was saying if I have someone that's a young quarterback, I want him to stay in college as long as he can and get as many snaps as he can. Because when you come in the NFL, it's a whole different ball game. And if you can afford to let him sit a year or two, you got a chance to develop a guy. But it's really tough to come from playing 1 year or 2 years in college and then come in the NFL and think they're immediately going to star.
And it's not just that. Sometimes I sit here and I criticize guys because of what I see them do versus what in my mind, what I remember I used to do. I must admit, as tough as it was my rookie year, I was surrounded by a bunch of bad players. I mean, not bad. No. I mean, badass players.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. I mean, come on. I got Brandy, Too Tall. I got Harvey, right? I mean, I have players around me that really helped pick me up those times that I was getting toasted that first half of my rookie year.
Linebackers were pretty good too back then. Right? They were all right.
Yeah, the linebackers in the flex, they were never meant to be
stars.
No, they were just meant to do their job because back then that's when you just needed a defense that just need to be coordinated, which is what the flex was all about. So, but when these guys come in, whether it's a wide receiver or a defensive back, they really don't have that kind of support of a really dynamic team this year. And that's something that always should be considered when I know from my point of view, when I start critiquing how these guys play. They didn't really have the assistance that I had back in 1981.
And to McCarthy's point on Cooper Rush, here's a guy that played 50 games at Central Michigan. After a redshirt year at Central Michigan, he threw 1,648 passes in his collegiate career for nearly 13,000 yards. And then he sits and sits and sits and goes 5-1 along the way. And now here he is. And compare that with Trey Lance, who for one season, 16-game season, winning a national championship at the FCS level with North Dakota State, had 330 pass attempts.
Wow.
And now he gets drafted 3rd pick in the draft, and now he's sitting and sitting and sitting, but he's not getting reps and reps and reps. And so here we are. Tony Romo's another example. A guy that was 3-year starter at Eastern Illinois, and then he sits and sits and sits. And if he got thrown in his rookie year, he would have been like Trey Lance. And it was because and he had a lot of reps in college as opposed to Lance.
That's right.
All right, we continue with more Mick Shots in just a moment.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel? Attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey, Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine says...
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Back to Mixed Shots.
'Tis the season for youth football and dance camps presented by Invisalign. Don't miss your chance to learn from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders at dance camp on December 23rd and former NFL players at football camps on December 23rd and 27th. Celebrate the holidays with the Cowboys. Register today at dallascowboys.com/camps.
Okay, here's the deal on the unrestricted free agents that the Cowboys signed this offseason. We mentioned Eric Kendricks. He was not an unrestricted free agent because he was a cap casualty with the Chargers, and so he was. And then Ezekiel Elliott was signed the day after. He was signed on April 30th. And the rule on unrestricted free agents is if the player has received a tender from their prior club by the Monday immediately following the final day of the draft, it falls into that compensatory. And so he did not receive a tender from the Patriots, and that took you through April 29th was the final day that an unrestricted free agent would count in the compensatory pot. And so he was signed on April 30th. So the Cowboys, take it back, the Cowboys knew probably for several weeks before the signing of Zeke became official that they were going to sign Zeke, but they were waiting until April 30th to do it so that he did not fall into the pool of compensatory.
You mean they were that smart?
I'm just assuming. That was the case.
Was it an accident? What if you sign your own guys back? Does that count?
That does not
count.
No, it's who you lose and who you gain.
Okay.
All right, so there you go.
Kind of complicated.
It is, but that's how we have parity in this league. And that's why the NFC West has a 5-4 team, of 2 4-4 teams, and a 4-5 team.
And a bunch of 2-7 teams.
In the league. That's right.
Well, you know what?
Did press for say NFC West.
Here's what I realized. The Eagles are on a 4-game winning streak. They've beaten 2-7, 2-7, 2-7, and 4-5. Am I right?
That would be.
They've beaten Cleveland,
the
Jacksonville, and the Giants, and then they beat Cincinnati. That's 4-5. Not trying to talk you into anything on Friday, but just thought I'd point that out.
Well, if it was the Cowboys, then someone else would be pointing that out. I mean, I'm just saying.
That's good.
They would be saying the same thing.
That's good.
And, I saw that the Eagles team, the best thing about those guys is they don't beat themselves. And that's starting number one from the quarterback position. Jalen Hurts will eat it and sacrifice his body rather than trying to make the big play or make the big turnover. he'll take that on himself.
Right.
And then that defense will come out and give him another chance and another chance and another chance. That's why their scoring against them is so meager, and they're not really trying to blow anybody up. They're just out there trying to. They just want to score more points than you. They're not. They don't like style points.
You know that I think on Hurts, I think that's the key on him, is when they are playing well, he's not turning it over.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look, even this season, looking at his stats this season, he had turnovers in the first 3 games. They off to a slower start, okay? They went 2-2 their first 4 games, and he's not turning the ball over in the last 4 games, whatever. If you look at him last season, he had 15 interceptions. And how their season go last season?
Not good.
Yeah. And so, and a lot of that has to do, I think, with,
he was questioned,
playing from behind in games too, that sort of thing. And even go, I watched him closely his 1 year at Oklahoma. And that was one of the frustrations that I had, was sometimes he would take some chances in competitive games but when things are going well, he's great at handling that. But if it's a tight situation,
get on him.
That's right.
Well, he started off Super Bowl. He made the Super Bowl. Did a great job in the Super Bowl.
He was on the track to be the MVP of the Super Bowl.
That's right. Then the next year, he didn't do so well, and everyone started to question. Okay, is this guy really the guy that we want?
And that was his 15 pick year last year.
That was it. Everyone started to question. He learned, and not only did he learn, his team learned, because now their play calling and their strategy during every game is you just stay cool, Jalen. The defense has your back.
Which is why they made a change in play callers this year, and why Kellen Moore is there now.
Interesting.
So the Cowboys have to face Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. Is that?
That's right. Vic Fangio's the defensive coordinator. Yeah.
So they know the coordinators, and the coordinators know them.
Yeah, and so there needs to be a moment to where, at least a few moments, to where we think, okay, is this team that bad, or is this team being coached improperly? That's one thing you got to look at, because it is about coordinators sometimes, and especially when you have the familiarity that these coordinators have with each other. It's going to, when it comes to Dan Quinn, that's going to be a thing. It's really, as much as players versus players, this is coaches versus coaches, guys.
Well, they better know what he does.
This is coaches versus coaches.
And you were mentioning, so I just looked up, the Eagles have the 3rd ranked total defense. So if you're playing well defensively, you can afford a couple of mistakes on offense. Or you can afford not to score a whole bunch of points to have to win, unlike the Cowboys. If they're not scoring 30, chances are they're not winning the ball game.
So the scheme is extremely important. And right now we've been outplayed and out-schemed, especially when we play at home.
I mean, look at two of the Eagles' wins. They won 15-12 and 20-16. So that helps.
I mean, I watched those games, and they were, I was not impressed.
Right?
I was not. It was like the Falcons before we played them, and even after we played them, still not impressed. I'm just even less impressed by our team, which is a problem.
A.J. Brown, his injury status is one that we'll be tracking throughout the week, too. He did get good news on his MRI yesterday or Monday. No structural issues, more of a bruise, has a chance to play this week.
So if he plays, you obviously got your hands full with the wide receivers, with Devontae.
We're going to have problems with any wide receivers at this point.
Devontae Smith.
That's what we need. We need to come to that conclusion. We're going to have problems with any wide receivers. It's just a matter. That's why the coaches right now are extremely important. The game plan itself, how we choose to attack, how we choose to play. How many can we stop making all the mistakes in crucial situations? This is really coming down to how much control does the coach have over this team? And that's been a problem all year so far.
Well, assuming Dan Bland's not playing, do they have to consider what they do with Jordan Lewis, or I know what they do if it's 3 wide, but what if it's 2 wide? Mm-hmm. You going to put him out there, or are you going to keep Kalen Carson out there, who does not seem to be playing with a lot of confidence right now?
Well, he's a rookie.
But he just got back.
Yeah, he just got
after
back.
all that time off, and boy, they attacked him too,
and
right from the start.
Well, that's the way Kirk Cousins does. I saw him. That was the Monday night game. I was sitting up there at Kevin Smith's place, and we were watching the game. They attacked the cornerback that came in. I think that's when they made a big deal about he's a white cornerback. They went at him right away. Because he was white. Well, it was 2 things. He's a white cornerback, and he just got in the game.
Just young.
And he had just gotten in the game. If I'm not mistaken, they had heard a corner.
Oh, okay.
And they had to put him in. Kirk went right at him.
Right.
And then that's when the next week, that's when I saw they made a big deal about it. You got 2 white cornerbacks in the NFL right now.
Well, that's why the Cowboys went at that cornerback on the fake punt, and it didn't turn out so well.
Well, you went at him with a punter and a gunner, not a wide receiver and a quarterback.
Okay. When we come back here on Mick Shots, I know one of the white cornerbacks plays for the Eagles. Cooper, okay, was it it must have been the Philadelphia game.
Yeah.
All right, there it is.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. Is there another white cornerback in the league?
I just check X. Hey, I was just checking X.
And I just looked on X. It says Cooper DeJean is one of 2 white cornerbacks in the NFL.
I saw that.
We'll have the answer to that trivia question. Who's the other one when we come back on Mick Shots in just a moment.
Out there for you, kids.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Mick Shots.
Capture a frame-worthy family holiday photo with Santa at the Star, presented by Monument Realty. Santa will be spreading holiday cheer at this Cowboys-themed cottage in the Star District from November 22nd through December 24th. For more information and to book your visit, head to the stardistrict.com/Santa.
Okay, the answer to the trivia question. I got it right in the break. I got it right. It's the Denver Broncos' Riley Moss out of Iowa. He was a third-round draft pick last year.
So
you asked me for his stats. He's actually playing. He's got 56 tackles this season for the Broncos.
I thought I saw one of them with an interception. I think it was him. Did he get
By the way, you said Iowa. He's from Purdue.
He's from Purdue.
You said Iowa.
How come it says on ESPN.com that he went to Iowa?
I thought you said Purdue.
That's
on
what
your
I guess.
Big green notebook.
No,
you said Purdue.
I said Purdue in the break. I corrected it on the air.
So the big green notebook was wrong.
No, the big green notebook was right. My memory was wrong. I don't have it in front of me. So, but that's why I have a big green notebook so I can remember
they had
one white
two
quarterback
white
who came into the league as a third-round pick.
On the same team, Chris?
I mean, Iowa, didn't DeJean came from Iowa as well?
There you go.
So you got two guys.
How about that?
Both of them in the league.
Wow, that's cool.
About as many in the league as white running backs.
That's not true. Hunter Lipton.
There was a point.
Well,
he's a fullback.
Not a tailback.
You know what, Mickey? I'm glad you brought that up because there was a point we were losing white running backs in the league,
right?
And then Rex Burkhead came into the league.
That's right.
That's
right.
And basically,
always goes back to Burkhead,
when
right?
Burkhead came back in the league, it was shown.
Texas, baby.
That's right.
That's
Plano
right,
Senior.
baby.
When you want to talk about
baby.
pet cat, that's his pet cat of all time right there.
Hey, I ain't mad at you.
He's not
proved
starting right now.
Leave it to Plano.
Not now. He's retired
That's
after
what
a
I'm
full
saying.
decade in the
I'm
league.
talking
And by
about
the way, he
now.
should have been a draft pick
Hey,
here.
leave it to Plano to represent, baby. I'm living in Plano right now.
I was talking about right now.
Well, one's injured.
Well, he's coming back, though. He started practicing. McCaffrey.
Okay.
Eckler. Right?
Yeah, but McCaffrey's the man.
Okay.
Eckler.
So who else?
Eckler's a brother.
Yes?
Eckler's a brother.
Oh.
Eckler's
Sorry.
a brother, man. Maybe Italian. But
Is he
at the most Italian. But
I looked at you like,
what?
like Eckler.
Wow. I was trying to come up with a second one.
He's what we call light, bright, damn near white.
All right.
Come on, man.
Light what?
Light, bright, damn near white. Yeah.
Well, see, fooled me.
Yeah. We have a few of those. Yeah.
Who else?
That's it, right?
I don't see it.
Yeah.
You don't see it?
I don't see the
visually. I like that.
I don't see the color.
No, we don't, Bill. Of course
right.
you don't, Bill.
Here we go, Everson.
Right, yeah, right on, my brother.
Hey, we're in Texas. We see color.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Oh, man,
Move on
that
to
was a
the
good
what
one.
else is
Thought
on
I'd
your
get
legal
that
file?
out.
This was very good. I like that. That was funny. That was fun. But you still didn't tell me one of them has a turnover.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I thought I saw one of them made a play.
Moss does. Moss has a pick.
There you go. And they celebrate that, like any other pick. But I remember them going with him to the end zone, and I said, oh, man, my brother.
Okay, so when I write the tease for our podcast, I think I'll leave out white quarterbacks.
Right. And running backs, by the way.
And running backs.
Right. That's a good one.
All right. Moving on.
You just saw one in Atlanta, by the way. White running backs. Algier.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at it right now. It says top white running backs in the league, and Algier is number 3.
He's Creole.
Okay.
He is not white. And you're probably right, but I'm in my mind like, no, that's not right.
He went to BYU.
Yeah, that's so. Got a bunch of brothers with the BYU.
Yeah. Mickey, there's Austin Eckler for you.
Okay. Well, then pull up.
I'm pull up Algier now.
No, that's definitely a Creole name there.
Algier.
Yeah, that's a Creole name.
South Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, man, I went to Grambling. We had a lot of light, bright, damn near whites at Grambling.
There you go. There's Algier.
That's a brother, man.
Okay.
That's a brother.
See there?
That's a brother.
Laugh at him.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to send you this article right now.
Yeah, he's reading the article. I'm devil's advocate with Chris here.
Okay, while we do that, Mickey, what else do we need to know?
Yeah, right.
This is so important.
Okay, here, according to Wikipedia, Algeria is of mixed black, white, and Filipino descent.
Once you say mix, it's over.
There you go.
One drop.
The guy in Miami, the coach, right?
Yeah. He tried to pass. Yeah, Algier didn't try to pass.
That's just like Dak gets credit for being a black quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Well, one drop is all it takes. That's
it.
That's what America said. We're just going by those guidelines. No, so I was right. Yeah, I know brothers, man. I know Creoles too. That's Creole.
Okay.
I'm looking to see what else Mike had to say.
Did y'all talk about white cornerbacks in the league?
No,
he's going to attack the white cornerback in the game, going straight at him. That's the game plan. I'm sure that's the game plan. All right, we're going to come out and attack the white cornerback.
He apologized for throwing his iPad.
Man, don't apologize.
Okay. Yeah, I want to hear that.
Don't apologize. Go ahead. I want to hear this.
Well, here was the weird thing. He said it on the walk-off yesterday, or Monday. Right? Okay. And he said it was kind of embarrassing and that's not good.
No.
And then they asked him in the press conference about it. Like, the walk-off's kind of inside information. Right?
I thought he'd be asked about it on Monday.
Yeah, well, he
was. The
wasn't.
day after.
He was in the walk-off.
Yeah.
And then he was asked about it today. And so he was like, I thought we already talked about that.
Oh, okay.
And then it was like he just went along with it, and he said it was an embarrassing moment and that he's got to do a better job. He said it was definitely a moment I'd like to take back.
Well, I don't care about that part of it. What I want to know is what was he mad about?
Yeah, at what point?
Was he mad about the call or the
we were trying to figure out, was it the blocking, the lack of communication where they didn't block that linebacker? Was it, as Everson pointed out, that if CD could have just got
He had mentioned that they had a communication problem on the 3rd and 1, and I was trying to remember.
That was
if
it. Wasn't
the 3rd
that
and
was
1
4th and 1.
was
okay.
That was the end around, right? The 4th and 1.
The jet sweep was the 4th and 1.
Yeah,
the play in question.
There was a 3rd and 1 he mentioned, and that was the one they had too many people in the huddle.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That was later. Yeah.
Yeah, that was later. So,
but I, if I'm him, I own that. I would own that.
Right?
Yeah, man. It's about he looks too calm over there. He looks too forgiving.
Right.
Dak is the same one. They're too forgiving. First of all, he's extremely hard on himself. I get that as a quarterback, but I like
when somebody else screws up.
Yeah, especially like, dude, this is enough of this.
I tried to inject.
Like for instance, what is the one moment on the sideline that we still remember from Tom Landry's 29-year coaching career?
What, when he jumped up and down during the Super Bowl?
No, Danny, no. Right? That was this was McCarthy. This was McCarthy's, and it was a 4th down play.
Yep.
It was 4th and 1 again, and Danny ran the play, and no Danny, no. This was McCarthy's no Danny, no moment.
And I think that's what everybody liked about Jimmy. Jimmy was different in that regard because Tom was always all demure and put together.
And Jimmy was
his emotions right here. You're going to see it right here.
Well, I tried to inject levity into it because I said, at least you didn't punch the guy.
Right.
Remember Parcells?
Yeah.
When he punched...
All right. We're all sitting here. I'm sitting here assuming that on that tablet, he's looking at the 4th down play, and that's why he threw the tablet. To your point, and what he said in the press conference on the 3rd and 1 play, the previous play was 3rd and 1, and Rico got stopped by one for no gain, and Grady Jarrett made the play. And on my log sheet here, I put in parentheses communication. It looked to me like there was a communication issue on the offensive line.
That's because the linebacker came through unblocked.
Blocked the wrong guy.
Right. And so as I'm watching the game in real time, I wrote that out in the margin here. And so what you're saying is It was a third and one
play. It was the left
play.
side of the line, right? The left side of the offensive line.
I can't wait. I'm going to see McCarthy tomorrow. I'm going to ask him,
if that
as we tape the show, I'm going to ask him, okay, which play is it that you were upset about?
Yeah.
And I bet it was the third and one play and not the fourth and one.
So I wrote down third and one. It was the third and one play at the Atlanta 43-yard line, 43.
Yep.
And I wrote Guyton got beat by Grady Jarrett, and he got hit in the backfield for no gain.
Mm-hmm.
And that, but that, the left side of the line, right? And they said that. Did they try to blame Olsen? Did Olsen try to blame the guard, or did he try to blame?
Or it was the next play on the 4th and 1 when they had 8 guys in the box and they tried to end around, and Ellis stopped him. No one blocked him.
That's the CD play.
That's the CD.
Yeah, that's the CD.
Yeah. And we were wondering yesterday if it's designed for him not to be blocked.
It was designed. You mentioned it, that he cut it in. He needed to go out.
Well, no. That was down the field when I thought CD could have broken it all the way. That
I meant on the end around. No,
yes.
You were talking about the end around.
No, listen to me. The jet sweep, when we broke it, that was after we got stopped. Then later on in the game, we broke it, and CD's down the field. I'm saying that his decision down the field was wrong. He should have stayed outside when he tried to cut back inside on the safety.
I thought you were talking when you were talking about that the other day. I thought you were talking about the 4th and 1 play.
No.
That play.
No, the 4th and 1 play. Olsen pointed out was a linebacker who stood up so he could see the jet sweep coming. When CD broke the one later, it was because and Olsen was like, see, this is what I told you. The guy was a defensive lineman, and therefore he could not see it, and it was successful.
He was down in a 3-point stance or a 4-point stance, and the linebacker was in a 2-point stance, and so he was able to see it coming.
To see it coming. Yeah. That's according to Olsen, and the video pretty much said that.
So that's kind of like bad luck.
Yeah,
they by formation, they put the linebacker there, and he had.
So I don't think he's supposed to be blocked.
Gets back to Greg Olsen's a great analyst.
Yeah.
How about? I love this. Remember late in the game, pass to Turpin, and Turpin left his feet, and Olsen immediately pointed out that you got to learn not to, because that's the it was an incomplete pass. But what he said was that gives you a foundation to be able to make that catch. But when you jump he doesn't need to jump for that ball, and you lose that foundation, and then the ball gets jarred loose. Right. But that's and for a tight end,
you have to, he
makes that play all the time.
Because a tight end catch it at his highest point without jumping.
And a tight end does that route all the time, and so he knows you're boxing out basically.
No doubt.
So I told McCarthy, at least you didn't punch him. And I think it went by everybody's head because you remember when Parcells punched Todd. His dad was the big scout. Todd Haley, right? And he punched him like on the sideline because he had told
real time.
The coaches that quit yelling at the officials. I'll do the yelling at the officials, and whatever happened, Todd Haley went after the official, and he went up to him.
He turned around
and he just pushed. He pushed him, but he threw a punch, right? So the next day, of course, he had to answer about it, and he goes, "Yeah." He goes, my daughter called and said, "Dad, do we got to go back to anger management class?"
So I want to know what McCarthy's mom said.
Yeah. Well, usually anger management class for someone from Jersey is Miami. Just go to Florida, man, and just chill.
Just chill.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we accomplished a lot on this edition.
We covered so many, all ladies, podcasts, white players, cornerbacks. And right. I had to set Chris straight. You're welcome, Chris.
All right. And how about we do it again tomorrow at noon?
Yeah, different topics, though.
Here on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
And no crack.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!